Okay, so we have our spiny dogfish shark. This is a member of the phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, and class Chondrichthyes. We'll look at body regions first. So the head end is the anterior end, the tail end is posterior. The dorsal surface is the dark gray here, and the lighter gray or beige surface is the ventral surface. We also refer to the lateral region and the medial region here. So anything that is along this midline is considered medial. Anything out to the sides is considered lateral. We'll look at the fins first. So we have two dorsal fins. They are unpaired, so they are on their own, singular. We have an anterior dorsal fin, and here we have a posterior dorsal fin, named for their position close to either the anterior end or the posterior end. We also have two paired pectoral fins. Okay, so pectoral fins, think of pectoralis muscles or the pecs on humans. We also have paired pelvic fins. So the pelvic fins are the way that we determine the sex of our shark. So if we have a female, it will look like this. A male, these two pelvic fins are modified into claspers. So you'll see an extension down here. These are modified into structures that will transfer sperm to the female cloaca. So right here we have some of the large intestine coming out. So we'll push that back in. But right here we have the cloaca, which is both a reproductive exit and a digestive exit. The last fin that we have is the caudal or tail fin, located here. It is considered a what we call a heterocircle fin. So hetero meaning different, so the top and the bottom portion, or the dorsal ventral portion of the caudal fin, is different. The dorsal portion of the caudal fin is a little bit longer than the ventral portion. When we see bony fish, we'll notice that they're homocircles, so they are kind of the same shape on the top and the bottom. Okay, so here we don't have a really conspicuous example, but it's close enough to be able to tell the difference. This is a male, so you notice the claspers right here kind of extend off the surface. They are modified slightly. This is a younger juvenile male, but we do see two claspers here and here that are just slightly noticeable there, versus a female where we won't have any clasper-like structure. So this is a male here, and this would be a female. Okay, now if you run your gloved finger along the surface of the skin, you'll notice in this direction it's fairly smooth, but when you run your finger against the grain, so to speak, of the skin, against these scales, it almost feels sandpaperish. That's due to the presence of placoid scales or dermal denticles, which are modified teeth. These are tooth-like structures that make up the skin. They reduce drag. They also protect it. This is one of the reasons why sharks are the only animals that do not accumulate barnacles. Now we'll look at some of the sensory and nervous system. So the shark is a very cephalized, bilaterally symmetrical animal. Most of the sensory equipment is going to be in the head end. So the first thing we notice are on the ventral surface, we know these olfactory pits or nares. We mentioned that those are sensitive to the tune of 1 part per billion chemicals in the water. So this is what enables them to detect prey miles away. We'll also see on the ventral surface the mouth. So if we look at the shark's head, in most fish outside of Chondrichthyes, the mouth is located at the anterior-most end, but in sharks, the mouth is ventral. This is also the case for their relatives, the skates and rays. Also notice this sort of pointed region of the head. This is called the rostrum. We've seen that term before as well. That term was also relative to crayfish. The eyes are here and here, so notice they are both laterally positioned. Okay, so they are on either side of the head, which helps them, serves them in predation as well. And if we look very closely, you probably won't be able to see it on the video, but dotted all along the ventral surface of the head, around the mouth, around the olfactory pits, all along the eyes too, you'll notice some dark spots. These are the end of the ampullae of Lorenzini, which is its bioelectrosensory system. So these are hollow fluid-filled canals that enable it to detect muscular contraction and the electric fields generated by living organisms. Also, this one's a pretty good one. You notice this sort of vague line that runs down the lateral portion of the body. That is called the lateral line. So we mentioned that bony fish also have this structure. It is used for detecting vibration in the water, for locating directional stimulation. The last thing on the external anatomy that we'll look at are the spiracles. So if we look behind both eyes, so here's an eye, there's an eye, we notice two holes directly behind them or posterior to them. These are spiracles. And spiracles are used to continue to pass water over the gills. They'll exit out of this gill slit. And when water passes through the spiracle and exit the gills, it's usually because the shark already has prey in its mouth and it still needs to be able to extract oxygen. Okay, so now we'll look at the internal anatomy, and what we've done is I've actually cut off the pectoral fins here just to make it a little bit easier, but we're going to cut around the anterior line of that pectoral fin, so it would have started about here, so our gill slits are right there, and we're going to cut kind of a rectangular window out here so that we can see clearly. The largest, most conspicuous structure in the entire digestive or in the entire body cavity is the liver. So we actually have 3 lobes, even though this one's a little bit, notice the discoloration there. It didn't preserve well and it's a little bit off, but there's 1, 2, so this second lobe is a little bit mangled here, but 2, and then a third lobe, a median lobe here to the liver. And this portion of the liver, this is where the gallbladder is attached, so you can see it right here. That is the gallbladder, which is a reservoir and a storage place for bile. So bile is a fat emulsifier. It breaks down fats. So whenever this shark eats a high-fat meal, the bile from the gallbladder is going to be transferred to the stomach via this bile duct here. So you can see the gallbladder is right here. Bile will travel down this bile duct to the stomach, and this is the stomach here. Notice we mentioned that it was J-shaped, and we've got a pretty good example here. We have a cardiac portion of the stomach and a pyloric portion. You don't need to know the difference between the two. You just need to know this is the stomach. But they help for locating 2 other structures. So this dark gray structure, posterior to that J curve, is called the spleen. It is both the site of red blood cell production and breakdown, and right here there's sort of a whitish portion. This is the pancreas, and the pancreas serves the same purpose it does in humans. It is an enzyme production center, and it secretes enzymes into that intestine as food is being digested, which brings us to the spiral valve. So the spiral valve is immediately posterior to the stomach. We have this little area called the duodenum, or the sphincter, that tightens just before it gets to the spiral valve. So the spiral valve is similar to our small intestine. And this particular one, you can kind of see this sort of springy quality to it. You can usually see from the outside all of these small creases. So internally, this thing spirals down and it causes food to sort of go through this motion and slow down and increase surface area for nutrient absorption. Posterior to the spiral valve, when you notice that it is no longer no longer has the sort of same consistency or that toughness. Down here it's more like an empty bag. This is the large intestine, or the colon here. Notice the colon ends directly above the cloaca. So this is the place where water is going to be reabsorbed to make firm feces. I guess this would be dorsal to the colon. You'll notice a small finger-like tube-shaped organ called a rectal gland. The rectal gland is mainly important in reabsorbing salts, so that this shark is not losing too many of its salts and electrolytes. So that is the rectal gland. Other than that, I think the only other thing I failed to mention were the gill slits. So you can see them here, even though I've already got this guy pinned down, this girl pinned down. We have gill slits, which are our external openings to our respiratory system. In the actual dissection, you will have actually removed some of the digestive system and taken a look at the underlying structures where the kidneys are. You do not need to know those. You'll also probably open up the skull, find that cartilaginous skull, and look at the brain briefly. And you may even get up into here and be cutting into the gill structures. But other than that, that's everything that you are responsible for on the lab practical.